I'm usually not that into survival games, but this one right here is definitely hooked me. Yo, what's good? It's Miss Dora. Look, I've been playing an absolutely insane amount of Palworld lately, so I wanted to go ahead and give y'all my thoughts on the game so far overall. So to hop right into things, honestly, I'm surprised at how good this game already is at its early access launch. I mean, I'm enjoying myself more right now with this game than I have with any of the recent Pokemon games. And I'm not saying that as some kind of like Pokemon or Nintendo hater that wants to see those games fail, right? I've loved Pokemon since I was a kid. I'm saying this as someone who actually really liked the recent Pokemon Legends Arceus game. Now, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, did play them, wasn't a massive fan. That performance was honestly kind of unexcusable. So this game right here, Palworld is kind of doing some healing for me in that regard, right? So honestly, it's crazy how much being able to fight alongside my captured pals, which is this game's version of Pokemon, right, leads to me feeling like I'm truly going on an adventure with them. In Pokemon games, even Legends Arceus, you can send your Pokemon out and they can fight for you and all that kind of stuff. But here, you fight alongside them. So it's kind of a different feeling, right? It ends up doing a lot for me when it comes to how much I'm enjoying this game right here. And that combined with the other elements here, such as exploring the open world, the base building, survival mechanics, progression, discovering new exciting pals to catch, and more, well, just leads to me having a lot of fun with the game. Way more than I was expecting to. For exploring the open world, the map that's available to play on does have a good amount of various locales, right? I mean, there's a desert climate, there's like really cold, snowy areas, there's volcano, and there's, like kind of a hilly, like, very lush green area. Lots of cool little places to get lost in, and it's not procedurally generated, which to me is nice in my opinion, right? Base building is already pretty robust. There's a good amount of options here at early access launch when it comes to customizing your base to look just how you would want it to. And of course, you got the, productivity facilities, right? So you can have a constant cycle of certain resources being generated. It's all really cool. You can get really creative and kind of, I really think that's going to be hard for any two bases to look very similar between players, right? Progression is also pretty nice. And I like how I'm pretty sure it's like this in some other survival games as well. I'm kind of not that into the genre, right? But I do like how you can choose what to prioritize, learning in terms of new technology to develop for your character. If you want to completely ignore spending, tech points on melee items to focus on ranged items, you can do that. And easily a part of the game they nailed, like I said earlier, was that excitement you get from traveling the world, exploring it in search of new exciting pals to catch. I'm telling you, it's addicting. I just want to go out there and see what other, creatures are out there for me to catch. It's something that Legends Arceus nailed as well, I will say, but it is done even better here, in my opinion. There's this back and forth in Palworld that I'm sure exists in other survival games, and is probably a reason why they're so addicting, as I'm now finding out, between being at my bases, building stuff, improving its facilities, and spending time with the pals that I have there, and just venturing out, just going out into the world, picking a direction to explore, and discovering stuff and finding new things in pals. That is very well done here. Again, like I said, I'm sure it exists in other survival games, but it is very well done here. I think maybe solely just because of the creature aspect. I don't know, maybe it's because you've got these creatures at your base. You don't feel so alone, even if you're playing single player, right? The balance it's just done very, very well here. And I just completely get lost in the game as a result. During my first session, I was playing so long, and before I knew it, the sun was out, and it was like that for the first few times that I ended up, booting this game up. And to be honest, I've seen this game get called Pokemon with guns a lot. I feel like that doesn't accurately do this game justice, as it's just not that simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, it's more like Ark Survival with Pokemon, maybe Minecraft, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a big mix of mechanics and systems at play here that while are heavily inspired from other games, I don't think lends itself really to exclusively a Pokemon game. You know, the Pokemon aspect of things when it comes to Palworld is sharing the spotlight a lot with everything else this game has to offer. Now, normally games that prioritize having so many various things to do and systems to interact with do end up not panning out and suffering as a result of that particular, design philosophy. But I'm pleasantly surprised to say that Palworld doesn't feel like that for me. I find many aspects of the game really interesting and pretty engaging. But don't get it twisted though. I've been singing this game's praises so far, but I'm not saying it's perfect. It definitely could be better in some areas, and it does have its issues. It's a pretty stable overall early access launch, but there's a few bugs, and hopefully with updates such as new maps to play in, pals, and new stuff to progress towards, it does end up improving and being a better game over time. That would be the hope, right? But for early access launch, I'm both surprised and honestly impressed, especially at the performance, which has been buttery smooth for me. And honestly, kind of makes me laugh and feel a little bit sad at how bad Pokemon Scarlet and Violet turned out in, regards to performance. Pokemon fans, you honestly deserve better. I understand that it may not solely be Game Freak's fault, as they're under a lot of pressure from those way up above who do make the decisions, and they're getting a very short amount of development time to pump these games out. But I will say again, Pokemon fans, for how much money these games pull in for them, you do deserve better. It does have to be said, however, that Palworld's dev, Pocket Pair, does have a history of putting out early access games, working on them for a while, but eventually progress on them slows a lot and they end up feeling stuck in early access and just overall abandoned. They've done this with 2 previous games already, but I will say though, this level of success is just straight up unheard of for this developer. Their other games did not sell anywhere near this well, and I'm sure Pocket Pair themselves doesn't even know how to react to all the success. I'm sure they're just like, okay, we're gonna keep working on this game, but now what? I think I saw something on Twitter where recently it was like, 6 million players now or something like that. I don't remember what the exact picture was, but they just keep posting updates on their Twitter, and every time they post a picture, it's just an insane amount of more people have downloaded the game. It's getting bigger and bigger, and because of that unheard of success, while I wouldn't be surprised if Palworld does end up stuck in early access forever, it would definitely be, I would consider that like, dang, it would be a shame. And I could definitely see this game being the one that makes, Pocket Pair fully devote themselves to this title, and they finally get one to the finish line where it does end up fully releasing. If there was ever a time to break that bad reputation, that bad streak, it would be with this game. This is Pocket Pair. Listen to me, Pocket Pair, if you're watching. This is your golden ticket. If you can finish this game and update it properly, you will shut all the haters up, and you will show that you can do it. This has been the time. This is the time to make a full 180 and actually end up finishing the game and kind of getting rid of that reputation for yourself that you have as a dev. Please let it be this game that you guys succeed with. And with that said, those are my impressions of Palworld so far. Overall, I think it's just a really solid game already. Easily one that you can get lost in for hours. Plus it's multiplayer. While I do, play solo, it is multiplayer with public servers, or you can have a server open with your friends, which is a lot of fun too. For its asking price, even though it's just an early access title currently, I can easily recommend this game, considering, how many hours of fun you can get out of it even now. For the price, it's just a no-brainer.